So if you're wanting to get the Onirifalx Rod inside of Fisch, this is actually going to be one of, in my opinion, hardest rods you can get, but it is completely up to you if you are willing to take this challenge. So first things first, you're going to need to come on down to the depths. So this is just the basic area. Now, as a quick note, this is through a quest, and as a just little quick note, if you want to think if this is worth it or not. So this is going to have a few passives. Now, the first thing is going to be its stats. So it is pretty crazy stats to consider, but first things first is the lure speed is 777%. Therefore, meaning that this rod is going to instant, you'll never click shake with this rod. Now, the next one is going to be its luck. Its luck is by far one of the highest, and that is 777%. So at a 777% luck, that is just ridiculous. Now, its resilience is minus infinite, minus infinite. So you're kind of cooked on that. You have to get an enchant for it. And then the max KG is infinite once again. So this is completely free though, technically. You can get it by just completing the quest. And as a quick note, you need to be level 500 for the second stage, since there are 3 stages to getting this. The first stage, you can do it any level. The second stage, you're going to have to be level 500. And then the final level, you're going to have to be, or the final stage, you're going to have to be level 1000 or max level. So first things first is in the depths. We're just going to come on over here. Now, another thing to note about it is it does have some pretty insane passives. So like one of the ones is it has a plus 70% progress speed. So that kind of makes up for the lack in resilience. Then it has a 50% chance for the Levitus, I believe, mutation, which is 7x. And then a 7% chance for this Secretus, which is 7.7, and then a 3% chance for one that is a 10.7. Then it also has a 30% chance to summon a giant version of the rod and hit the bobber, which will fling you well over halfway through the mini game. So think of the Seraphic Rod before it was nerfed, and there's a 30% chance for it. And then finally, every perfect catch reduces the control by 0.1, which will shrink the bar a bit, but it adds a 5+% progress speed, which is pretty impressive. But this gets capped at a 120% progress speed and a 0.7 control loss. So every normal catch though adds 0.01 catch or control and reduces progress speed by 5% until it's back to default. So it is really an intricate rod. So what we're going to do is come on over to this altar. So if you're getting the depth rod, that section. So this is going to be the abyssal altar. We're just going to come onto the back side of it right here. Now you're going to talk to Nick right here. So you'll first interact with him and he'll just like do this. He'll be like, wakey, wakey. And then he'll be like, I wasn't sleeping, and so on. But the first one or first section is going to be, once you're in here, you're going to have to get a charred boot. Now the charred boot is actually pretty simple. So the first note about it is, so you're going to have to use the Zeus rod, since the Zeus rod is the only way you can get the charred mutation. And as a quick note, all of these mutations can only be obtained via using a rod. So you can't get the item and then sit and try to get the mutation on it. You have to get it via this. So the Zeus rod right here. So if you remember the Zeus rod, so pretty much there's a chance that it like shoots pretty much electric at your thing that you're catching, and then that'll give it the charred mutation. Now it's also recommended that you use garbage bait to lower your luck even further, giving you a better chance to get the boot. Now the second quest, this is going to be the harder one. I would honestly say the hardest. This is going to require level 500 or higher. And so you will have to get a Wrath Skyla. So what this is a normal Skyla, right? So you're going to have to get a Skyla, and you're going to have to get the Wrath mutation on it. Now you might be like, oh, I can just appraise for it. You can't. You have to catch a Skyla and get the Wrath mutation at once. Now the Wrath mutation is going to be from the Rod of Zenith, which I might have. I do not have the Rod of Zenith yet. So the Rod of Zenith is going to be this one right here. So this is pretty simple stats, but there is, as you see, a 70% chance to apply the Wrath mutation. So very decent chance. Now its other stats are kind of bad, and I would recommend getting something for its control. Honestly, the resilience you don't really have to care about. The control is more of the issue. So it has a really good chance to get that mutation on it, so you don't have to worry about not getting it. Now the one main issue though is you have to catch a Skyla, and that Skyla then has to have the 70% chance of getting mutated, but that isn't guaranteed, which is why it is a bit difficult. Now the next one, this is what makes it pretty difficult. So the next one is going to be the third and final quest. This is going to be, first off, you're gonna have to be level 1000. Now the next one is going to be, you're gonna have to get the Poseidon's, this is like the recommendation, you're gonna have to get a Wrath shiny sparkling floppy, which if you don't understand understand why that's difficult. Once again, if you appraise a fish, right, you can get shiny and sparkling on it, but if you appraise it, it loses the previous mutations it had. Therefore, meaning you have to catch it with shiny and sparkling at the same time. And once again, have the 70% chance of getting wrath on it. So not only is that absurdly hard in the first place, but it is also not a guaranteed chance. And this will take ages to get. Now, the first thing to note is you can use macros for this, like the few macro videos I've had. You can check those out to AFK this, since the floppy isn't actually that hard to catch, so you can AFK it. But nonetheless, you have to get these mutations on it. Now, the next thing to note is this is once you have obtained this, there are a few recommendations. So the first one is going to be you should probably use a Wrath Totem, or you should probably get the Rod of Zenith with the Blessed enchant. And you can also use something like the Shiny or Sparkling Totem just to further increase your chances. An Aurora is not recommended because that's going to make your luck really high, most likely meaning you're going to be catching other fish, because we want to hyper focus on the floppy. So you want to probably get the first off Blessed enchant, which is going to be a regular enchant. So Blessed will give you a 5% higher chance for getting shiny and sparkling. Another thing you can do is get one enchant, I believe it is from Cosmic Relics, which is going to be pretty helpful. But once again, you do want to make sure that you get that enchant, or else you're pretty much cooked besides that. Now, once you get the Wrath Shiny Sparkling Floppy and you give it to him, that is then going to give you the final reward, which is going to be that rod. Now, there are other rewards you get along the way. Like, I do believe you get the first one, you get an unsellable floppy. So you get the mutation unsellable on a floppy, which pretty literally means you can't sell it. And then the next one you get is a Song of the Deep, which is pretty impressive. But the one thing is it has the Sandy mutation on it, which is only obtainable via this, which is kind of interesting because you can't get the Sandy mutation any other way. So the Sandy Song of the Deep. So if you want that enchant relic, that's one of the ways you can get it. And then finally, you'll get the rod. But this is a very hard task to complete. And this is just, quick little guide. I say quick, but wasn't really. If you do want any help though, I will be trying to attempt to get this rod myself. And as of editing this video, by the way, this is me, I'm editing it. This is a little clip over. I did actually manage to get the Skyla. So I'll probably get another one. So if you do want the Skyla, leave a comment saying, please Skyla, or something like that. I don't know. Just ask for the Skyla and I'll give one away. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.